Welcome to Lunarism with Christeen Skinner. Once a month, we will meet each other here and discuss current transit, and also we always chat about what's going on at this moment. Hi, Christeen, how are you?
Well, I'm fine, and I'm in London, but that's temporary. I don't know if you've just seen the news today. Two sunspots have exploded together this morning, right? And
Oh,
they've exploded together, Rod, and they've formed this extraordinary solar flare this morning.
oh
Now,
my God.
that won't reach us till at least Monday. So it's
Yeah.
going to come in with the lunar eclipse, which kind of I think is that's got to be significant too, because I'm thinking Monday's going to be a very important date. Do you not think?
Definitely, especially as you mentioned, the lunar eclipse, and I think with the sunspot and the reach to us, because I think this is scientific. We know the huge solar flare sunspot usually has an impact to us, and for obviously the radio signal and things, and I think it's definitely going to have an impact to us. Oh, I should be keep an eye on it because I will be extremely busy that time traveling in and out.
Well, yes, and I mean, I'll just follow on from that, Rod, because when you do a study of the NASDAQ, right,
Mm,
it can be shown that after, please, this is not a financial forecast, right? So let's just say that. I'm not qualified to give that. But what I can say is that in the past, the NASDAQ has tended to come off 3% in the days following one of these outbursts. Now, you add that Mars has just slipped into Pisces, right?
yeah.
That's usually a slippery slope somewhere, right?
Hmm.
Plus a lunar eclipse. And I
Yeah.
suspect that Monday will be a day of some significance. Now,
Mm.
if it's a slide, right, a downturn, right, that may well provide a buying opportunity. I'm not saying it
Hmm.
will. I'm just saying because it will. Markets are defect. They're like people.
Yeah.
You might respond very well to one Jupiter transit and not to another, right? Yeah.
Sure.
But can I also say that this blasted lunar eclipse is to the button on my Mercury, to the button. And I thought I've got this all under control. We know exactly what we were doing. I thought everything was fine until Thursday lunchtime when my world was turned upside down by all sorts of happy events, can I
Oh.
say? Happy events, which mean that essentially I am now a chauffeur for the weekend, which is
Oh.
that's a very nice Mercury. Yes.
Yes.
But it's also, and I've turned my chair around so you can't see, but my whiteboard now, dare I show you? Maybe I can. Maybe
Yeah.
you can't quite see, right? You
Yeah.
can probably see up there, right?
Yes.
The tasks that absolutely have to be done by Monday morning, right?
Oh.
So and that's not to do with the solar book. That's still not hasn't even made it to the list, right?
Uh-huh.
There's several thousand words got to happen between now and Monday.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Now,
And you're going to
welcome to Lunar, welcome to eclipse season.
come into the eclipse season, and you're actually going to go and chase the solar eclipse.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I think I will departure from next week and catch up with friend in LA around, and then we were traveling down together to Texas to chasing solar eclipse. I'm so excited. Every time when I think about it, I will just couldn't sleep. So when every time I think about it, I get so stressed, exciting because I was thinking what camera I should use and what telescope I should use, which gear I should prepare. It's all over my head before I come into do the recording with you. I know, which is like, you know what, calm down. I think it's not, it's a learning process, but I'm really excited, to be honest. I'm really excited about this.
I think it's going to be an extraordinary eclipse, and actually, I know they're talking about it being the Great American Eclipse. I really wish they
Yeah.
wouldn't do that because my clients and colleagues in Mexico have got a bit of the lip about that, which is understandable. Not to I just had, just before I picked this up, a lovely email from a client in Canada whose property is going to be absolutely perfect for seeing the eclipse. So I don't think
Yeah.
the Americans can take ownership of this one. It's right across a big swathe of land. The solar eclipse, as you know, is exact with Chiron, right?
Yes.
And Chiron is going through Aries, right? So you really
Yes.
have to think about your head.
Mm.
I am
Yes,
not a
indeed.
medical astrologer. This is not my field, right? But this is kind of, it's a really statement of the obvious that all my airy clients, right?
Mm.
And in fact, actually, the Canadian that's just made contact, she's another Aquarius. She's February the 7th, right? And she's another one that's got too much going on in her head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just, you've got to drink lots of water.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was told by a pilot recently that the key to avoiding jet lag is every meal you have, you pretend it's breakfast.
Okay.
If you only ever have breakfast, your body can adjust.
That's a really precious suggestion because I think for people who travel a lot, and I think you're going to traveling a lot too, right? But very soon you're going away.
Well, given that that I couldn't go anywhere, I could barely go to the local Sainsbury's for 4.5 years. And I mean that literally. Right?
Yeah,
And then now look what happened in the space of a few weeks. And I was bouncing around the States like you wouldn't believe, right?
yeah.
And now, between now and the solstice, I will
Hmm.
be doing Cyprus, back to the States, Norway, Istanbul, and I just did Scotland last week. That's Yes, I know there were 5 countries involved. Yeah. So yes, it's gone, and I haven't even begun to think about the second part of the year, which
Hmm.
but anyway, it's and of course Jupiter's going to go into Gemini and it'll try
Yes,
my Libra planets. So, the world is my oyster. And yours,
definitely.
and yours, and yours.
Yeah,
Because you're going to Austin.
yeah.
My client there, a young man, super clever guy. I mean, unbelievably clever guy.
Hmm.
He's got involved in some legal stuff, but really on the right side, as it were. And he drew my attention to something that was actually to do with Chiron in being in Aries, which I hadn't really thought through the legal thing of that, which is this thing about it's where you have to spend money first before you're going to win a case.
Okay.
Right? So and I'm in exactly this situation here. The eclipse will oppose my Neptune, right? And I've got to take some legal action. But first, I've got to pay a certain amount, which I will get back if I win. But I still have to put it out first.
Yeah.
And then when I started to realize that my Mexican, my Norwegian, my Austin, my Canadian client, and myself, we're all going through this same thing. And I thought, this is very much Chiron in Aries. You have
Mm.
to give out first in order to get the Libra balance
Ah.
later.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Talking about this um Chiron thing, I noticed at this moment it's pretty important for Chiron and Mercury because I think for these couple weeks they are kind of a backward forward. They're going to conjunct each other 3 times around
Yeah.
this eclipse season. And I think for the Aries English chart, both Mercury, if we allowed a 2 over degree of a midpoint, I think Mercury is definitely on the sun moon midpoint for the Aries English chart.
Mhm.
And the Chiron, if we do it 1.5 degree, Chiron will be on the midpoint. So
Yeah.
I'm curious about the Chiron's role because for the solar eclipse, Chiron sun is exact,
Exact.
sun moon
Well,
exact.
I was pulling out a book by Alex Miller, his black hole book, because
Hmm.
when I did the research for exploring the financial universe, I was
Hmm.
pointing out that 19 degrees of the cardinal is that degree shows up whenever there has been a stock market trauma, right?
Mm.
Every
Mm.
time throughout the 20th century. So if history repeats, then a trauma is coming, not on the 8th of April, can I say? I think it's more likely to be triggered at the end of May when Mars
Hmm.
picks up that
Hmm.
point. But he's talking about 19 degrees of Capricorn lines up with a particular black hole.
Hmm.
And so I think that this solar eclipse, I mean, I think most of us feel as though we've fallen into a black hole already. The news is horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're completely lost for words whether or not you're watching the princess's story or the
Yes.
story or Ukraine or Gaza or whatever you are.
And for yesterday, a huge gunshot happened in Moscow.
Yes, it's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely, if you want to pin it on the eclipse, you can find many, many examples. I was looking today, that before we spoke, I was looking to see that 5 degrees Libra,
Uh-huh.
Haiti, that, which has gone lawless, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It has Saturn at 5 Libra.
Ouch.
Right. So its Saturn has gone missing. There is no rule of law.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't actually say that one definitively, because Egypt also has Saturn at 5 degrees of Libra.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you consider what Egypt is going through now, they have all these rules and regulations as to whether or not what trucks can go in or out
Yes.
of Gaza. So there does seem to be something about 5 Libra, which is about an intensity of trying to find out what's fair and just.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. To be honest, I think the Russia-Ukraine war and also Gaza is Israel. I think most people are either thinking, I don't want to say, I don't want to criticize, but I choose a side. But or we just choose to be human, you know. I don't know. When we choose to be a human, we
Rod,
feel really sorry for everyone.
yeah, Rod, I think you're absolutely right. I was looking at the Instagram things this morning, and of course everybody is looking at this Libra thing and saying, well, it's relationships, which ones are ending and what's beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's not that they're wrong. It isn't, because there is an element of that, and there's
Yes.
also this element of people choosing to take sides, but that's
Hmm.
actually seriously unhelpful. It
Hmm.
really is. I watched, I don't know about you, but I watched some of that UN Security Council
Yeah.
thing yesterday, and when they were, and I thought, this is the bit that's missing, is there's no
Hmm.
humanity. I mean,
Mm.
it's obvious they have to stop. There has to be a ceasefire
Yeah.
everywhere,
Yeah.
and that should have been, humanity has gone missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Well, I think at this moment, I think the whole world is like evolving and the things happen so fast. So, I hope you don't mind that I mentioned the event both you and I involved very soon. Our friend Wade Cave's
Oh, yeah.
astrologer summit, World Astrologer Summit, is going to happen on the 30th and the 31st of March. And if you haven't registered yet, please, because this is one of the huge event for the modern astrology, isn't it?
I mean, it really is, and he's pulled off a marvel. This is only the second one, isn't it?
Yes,
I mean, and it's come together so beautifully. He's an extraordinary. He's like you. He's an extraordinary energy
with both
vibrate.
Aquarius.
Yes. Well, yeah, okay. So very good at doing this, but the names that he's got and the global reach that, the speakers are covering every part of the world, and they're all experts in their own area. So yes,
Yes.
it's a great honor to be taking part. You're absolutely right. And it is
Yeah.
exciting. And of course, it's coming between these two eclipses,
Yes.
and because the geomagnetic field is altered at this time, tradition says this is when habits can be broken. Right?
Yeah.
It's always possible that we might actually say something that is, I can't imagine it, but Rod, but maybe we are going to say something profound and helpful. And
I
maybe,
hope so.
well, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe humanity can alter direction. That said, I don't think we can forget the backdrop of Pluto squaring Haumea just now. Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, because I'm writing another piece at the moment, the last time that we had so many ingresses within a short time was actually the 1914 war, right? So, if we're going to repeat, right? And I mean, thank God we're not a Broadway show. We don't have to do exact repeats. But
Hmm.
I think what happens, Rod, is that whenever planets change signs, we've all got to adjust and dance to a new rhythm, right?
Hmm.
And because it's uncomfortable, you stamp your feet a bit because you're trying to get used to it. And unfortunately, humanity seems to go out the window.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I don't I don't really know how we're gonna I don't know how we're gonna grasp this back.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. I don't know. Do you watch those sci-fi things? Because I'm a sci-fi fan, and a new TV series on Netflix just coming out called Three Body Problem, and was pretty interesting because, well, it's a very famous sci-fi novel from a Chinese author. The big one start from the Cultural Revolution. and then this scientist has kind of a hope, lost the hope of the humanity, so they decide to call the help from the aliens. Pluto in Aquarius. That novel was so popular in China and for Chinese literature world, but now turned into a film on the Netflix based in England, in London. And then, so if you have time and watch on Netflix, go to watch it. It's a sci-fi.
Thank you. Because, I mean, I'm not a sci-fi person, but I am into space, right?
Yeah.
And I've just done a piece about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction where I was actually showing how all of that, if you go back to 1955, unravel each of those things, the conjunctions, the space story is extraordinary. And now we've got trying to plant something on the moon. Whatever. We have absolutely got to reach out to space for something. And maybe, contact with aliens is perhaps not so far-fetched.
I agree. We don't know. We don't know when, but we couldn't guess because with Jupiter, Uranus, it could surprise us. Maybe just tomorrow.
I remember years ago I had too much to drink with our local doctor. I don't know why, with the conversation had been talking about Ireland, and it was at the time when I'm going back many years when the thing was really just Protestants against Catholics, and he was saying, well, he really felt that what we needed to do was to have a lot of other religions there, Hindus, Muslims, or whatever, and kind of water the whole thing down. Right? And I thought that's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I said, no. What we really need is the aliens to land, because if they did, then everybody would come together against the aliens. It does seems to be part of the human condition that there has to be an other, content. And yeah, so to summarize, I want to be hopeful about this eclipse.
Yes.
I would like us to, if the wounded healer of Chiron is with that solar eclipse, maybe we could mend a few bridges, right?
Yep.
But maybe I'm being Pollyanna here.
No, I think it's possible. It's possible, but I think as long as we remember, we don't need to repeat the history, and we have a choice. And if we choose, rather than choose side, we choose to be a human, choose humanity. I think we can gradually get it better.
I mean, you're talking about the Mercury Chiron conjunction, but the other big conjunction that's up there just now is Neptune and Hygeia, right? They're very, very close. They're just a degree between them. And you could say Neptune and Hygeia in Pisces is putting a focus on mental health. You could say that, right?
Yeah.
You could also say it's putting a big focus on spiritual health. And one of the, to go back to the princess for a minute, or just to address that, the last line of her thing, where she's saying, so many people are affected by this, the way in which she, I mean, typical sort of Capricorn Cancer thing, the way that she, everybody within the family together, we're all in this together. I think there is a deep humanity there if we can just explore it a bit more.
100% agree with you. Wow. Yes, I think for coming up couple months, we will be really witness a lot of a change, and maybe things spinning around on the kind of like you say, the Jupiter Uranus conjunction and with eclipse season, things going on. But I think we should keep our good faith and believe in humanity.
Absolutely. So when we meet again, where will you be?
Oof. Well, I will back in UK. I hope so. I love my home. I love a house. I really want to watch my tulip and cherry blossom. I've been away for too long and just come back for a couple of weeks. I'm going again. So you know what? I'm going to be here, and then let's go to catch up. Have a good glass of wine or something. That would be fantastic.
I mean, animals we know are affected by the eclipse.
Yeah. Yes.
Half an hour before it happens.
Yes, definitely.
Take your thing about half an hour before it happens, and then half an hour later, see what it's like.
That would be interesting. Thank you for suggestion. I would definitely do it. That would be so interesting. All right. Thank you, Christeen. Today, so nice to chat with you. It's been a while, and it's a fun chat. And so happy to see you, traveling around the world, and really hope you enjoy.
I am. Yes, you travel safe, Rod. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. See, and thanks everyone for watching today's Lunar Reason. And then, in 1.5 hours time, I have my webinar going to start with. So if you haven't registered, you still have a chance. And also, don't forget on the 30th and the 31st of March, World Astrology Summit is so cool. It would be really fantastic if you like our talk today, because we would examine all these things from all different countries. And that's fantastic, because I'm going to talk about China and North Korea. But,
Yes,
it would be very interesting.
Yes, and I'm going to do Europe. So there we go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay, thanks everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.